My name is Olivia and I'm a third grade teacher in New Hampshire, and welcome back to Classroom Setup in my classroom. So I'm in my classroom. It's early this morning. Oh my goodness, there's a deer outside. Wow. Oh my goodness, a deer. 2 baby deer. Wow. Yeah, that's how early it is. So I'm in my classroom this morning. It is the end of July right now, and I've already been in my classroom a few days. At the end of the school year, we got to move our furniture into our new classrooms, and then I spent just a couple hours at the beginning of July, and now I'm back. It's about 2 weeks later. Wanted to come into my classroom to see if there had been any progress in construction, and there has been a little bit. So, bit of an overview for you. Last year, my classroom was in the portables outside because our school is undergoing a construction project, and the second and third grade wing was under construction last year, and it was completed in June. So on the last teacher day of school, we were able to move our furniture into our new classrooms, the classrooms that hopefully we'll be staying in for years to come. So in a typical year, I would not be able to come into my classroom throughout the summer and set up because I would have to wait. There could be summer school and I'd have to wait until the floors were waxed at the end of August. But this year, since construction was completed in our wing, at least in June, they waxed the floors and we were able to move our furniture in and put it wherever we'd like to. So I've just been stopping in for an hour or two here or there, just trying to get little organizational projects done. My classroom is actually in pretty good shape for it not even being August, and we don't come back to school until, well, kids start in September, but we don't come back to school until the end of August anyway. So my classroom's in really good shape. I'm just trying to get little things done here and there when I have the time and when I feel like coming in, because I do enjoy it. So yeah, let me show you around what I plan to do today. One reason I was planning on coming in today was to see if construction had been completed on our cabinets and our cubbies at the back of the room. Cubbies or shelves for kids' hooks obviously have not been installed, but looks like they're about to start that in the next couple of days. That's what these pieces are, so that's exciting. And then the cabinets, looks like they are working on those as well, but unfortunately, since they still have clamps down, I'm not going to put any of my supplies in them just in case. So one thing that I've been working on is my calendar. Now, I'm a third grade teacher. I don't need to spend time on calendar, but even if it's for 3 to 5 minutes a day, I love going through calendar with my kids. I think it's so important for them to understand the months, the days of the week, how many days we've been in school. I just think there's a lot that you can do with it. So I'm trying to figure out now if I want to change this up. I have my days of the week up top, months. I like the kids to understand the numbers, the order of the months. But I think I'm kind of taking a video right now for my own help so that I can print out some new pieces, because I'm thinking that I want to consolidate this a bit. But over here will be my small group area. I have a red, yellow, green light system that I use for small group management, which is perfect because my table is right here. So that's something I'll be printing. Basically, I put a red, yellow, and green light up on the board, and I put all of the kids, I print their names on magnets, and they just move their name under the yellow or red light if I'm busy in a group, and that lets me know that they have a question, and they wait until I call them to work with me. So calendar will be here. I put up some washi tape already, and then eventually I'll put up another piece of washi tape about here. Our schedule and student teacher of the day will be there, Then I'll put up another piece of washi tape, and this part of the board will just be open for instruction. Those maps will not be there. They're just, I can't put them on the wall yet, and so I don't want them to be all rolled up when it is time for me to hang them, so I'm just kind of leaving them there to be flattened. And then here we do a math center model, and I plan to have my hands-on math center right here on the carpet. I did that last year and it worked out really great because kids are playing games, doing activities during that time, so it's great for them to have a ton of room. I guess I keep saying carpet. I don't have a carpet. I have puzzle pieces, which I'll be bringing in soon. But that will be there. And so for that math center, it's called Math Center H. We have 4 math centers: M, which is math fluency; A, at your seat; T, technology; and H, hands-on. Hands-on, again, will be right down here at our front area. I am trying to figure out, I think this will be something that I think about after I leave today, but just kind of trying to think. I always put the activity in this bin, then I'd like to probably put like our dice and counters up top, just things that they use frequently, and probably a basket for like expo markers, pencils, and erasers, so that last year I would tell the kids every day what they needed in that math center, and it worked out okay, but of course there were kids who would forget, and then it would take up time, so I'd like to just have all the materials they need right in this area for them. They don't need to bring their own. These TroFast bins have been incredible. I know a lot of teachers have them, but they truly are the best piece of furniture. Just super functional. You can use them in so many ways. And I used them pretty well last year, but I felt like there were some bins that just weren't utilized correctly. Like I store all my math games in here, but I'm kind of thinking that maybe math games that we're not using at that specific moment, maybe I can keep them in a file cabinet or a white crate so that I can use these drawers just a little bit better. Maybe put the kids' math folders in there or something for their center activities. So just trying to think about how I can better utilize those, because they really are a great tool, super functional. Gotten lots of questions and compliments from my coworkers about these drawers. They're great, worth the money for sure.
Good morning and welcome back. So today is another day of classroom setup, and you may realize I am not in my classroom right now. I am in my home, and that's because I went into my classroom Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, and today is Friday. So the past couple of days have been spent enjoying summer mainly, but I also spent some time planning and creating resources online, decor and labels for my classroom, not really resources. So I printed those, laminated, and cut those. So that's what I'm going to show you right now. And that's what I'm going in my classroom to do today. So it's already like 90 degrees at not even 8 a.m. So I'm just planning on going in for about a half an hour or an hour today. I live really close to the school, so I'm just gonna go in, bring the things that I bought and that I created, just to get them out of my house and to get them in place so I don't lose them. And then I probably won't spend much longer there today. That's kind of how I've enjoyed doing it this summer, is just going in for short periods at a time. Gives me time to think, instead of, like, if I can do something at home, like printing and cutting, I prefer to do that at home in the comfort of my couch, watching TV, hanging with my dog, as opposed to being in the classroom. So I like to go in, figure out what I need to do, and then if I can do it at home, I do it at home. So one thing I printed was this red, yellow, and green light. system. Now, I guess I didn't cut things out. I figured leave them on the laminating sheet so that I don't lose them. You can see that's a trend. I lose things easily. So I did this last year with my class, and I put green, yellow, and red on the board with an arrow, and then I print the kids' names on, I print them out and laminate them and then put magnetic tape on the back. And most of the time the arrow is pointed at go, which says feel free to come up to the table to work or ask a question, no need to wait. So that would be like in the morning, or I don't know, during full class instruction time if I'm not up at the front of the room. Typically I have kids up at the table with me, or I'm roaming around the room. So most of the time the arrow is on yellow, which says wait. And it says, please move your name in line and wait for your name to be called. Now this is where the arrow is 80 to 90% of the time. If the arrow is pointed here, which means I'm up at the table with kids, or typically that's what it means. I'm in a reading group or a math group, or I'm doing assessments with students. The arrow will be here, and then kids know they can just walk right up. They move their magnetic name underneath this. And if another kid comes up, they put their name underneath that, and another kid comes up, they put their name underneath that, and then they can go back to their desk or their center, wherever they're sitting, and they can continue working, and they don't have to worry. They know that I'll call them when I get a chance. So this worked so well for our class last year. The kids knew I didn't have kids just standing up at my table staring at me. It was a great system for us. And then of course the red light is stop. It says Miss Pollock is busy. Unless you have an emergency or problem, please hold on. So this red light I hardly used last year. Even if I was doing an assessment with students, or like reading assessments, it was typically on yellow. But then of course at the end of the year, when things are super, super busy and you have 5 million things to do and only 2 days to get them done, that's when I utilize this red arrow, red light right here, which tells kids, unless it's an emergency or a problem, please wait. So like I said, 80 to 90% of the time, arrow is here, kids just put their names up. It worked great for us. I'd recommend this or something similar. I printed a bunch of labels. These ones are for the bins in my closet. I did some organizing for those bins, and I just needed some new labels, reorganized things. So those are all there. Hopefully that'll be the last of those. These are for some paper trays and milk crates. Show you what I plan to do with those. And then the other thing that I did was I explained my calendar a little bit in the last clip, and I love doing calendar with my kids, but we only have that one whiteboard in class and only 2 small bulletin boards, so I didn't want half of the whiteboard to be taken up with our calendar. I'd like to be able to utilize the whiteboard in a few ways. Oh, I'm hearing my dog rolling around. So I printed out the same calendar pieces. I just made them a little bit smaller. And then I printed out another option for them. So I'm kind of going to go around and play around with these and just see what I like. Just trying out something new for calendar. I love doing calendar. I just don't want our calendar set to take up half of our usable wall space in our room. How many days have we been in school? Just reprinting this from last year. We tally it every day. And then once it gets to the bigger numbers, we count by 5s every day to see how many days we've been in school. I printed our birthday sheets. So I just do this, and then I write on them in permanent marker, which has been great because in my first year I had like 3 new students. I had 2 students move. So instead of having to reprint every time you get a new student or a student that moves away, this just worked great. And you can, if you don't know the trick, you can take a black Expo marker, color over permanent marker and then wipe it off, and that'll remove a name if you need to. So just save some time and hassle. And then one other thing that I have to show you is I went to Target. I'm a big online shopper. I do the majority of my shopping online, but I went into the store to check out this dollar spot that everybody always talks about. I feel like my Target never has much, so maybe it's just mine. But they did have these hashtag sets that I always see teachers talking about for $1 each. I was tempted to buy 24 or so to have a class set, but I restrained myself. So I just bought 6. I figured I could put them in like our indoor recess area. I'll figure out what to do with those. And then I also got these 2 caddies because I mentioned in the last video our Math Center model that we do. And with Math Center H, our hands-on area. So when my kids are in math centers, I put the centers up on our Clear Touch. They know exactly where they're going. They know exactly what they're doing. Everything's super organized, but the only thing that didn't work super well last year was that when they were going to a center, I would put at the bottom, like, you will need a pencil, or you will need a whiteboard, eraser, and marker. And for most students, that was fine. They read and they saw what they needed. But there were a couple students who constantly forgot to look at that and then would get over to the center and realize, oh, I don't have what I need. And it just was a time waster. So I decided for that center, I'm gonna have a caddy and I'm just going to put, I don't know how I'm gonna lay it out, but Expo markers, pencils, Expo marker, erasers, probably some pencil erasers. And then I'm also going to have our dice and counters in 2 little bins right next to it because in that center, Math Center, the hands-on center, I always have the game prepped and everything is put in one of those zip baggies that I'll show you when I get there. And so that's super organized, but there are always times where, you know, they need some extra counters or some dice. So that's really all they need in that center that is not already prepped for them. So that should be nice that kids can come right over and grab what they need. And then I just grabbed another one because they only had 2 and I figured grab them while I can. It will, of course, be used somewhere. So that's what I have to bring in today. And now I'm gonna head out to the classroom. Hopefully it'll be a quick trip. And hopefully I'll actually be able to get in and there won't be construction workers in my room. But we'll see. That would be a good thing too because that means they're making progress. We'll see you soon. Okay, I made some good progress on the whiteboard for today. So I forgot to print Saturday somehow, but I've got the days of the week up, the months of the year. I just have arrows saying yesterday was, today is, tomorrow will be, and then it's the 9th month. I made arrows for every month. And then we have our calendar pieces up top. I just leave the full calendar up every month. We don't add pieces as we go along because we'll often say things like, oh, field trip is on the 20th. Today's the 15th. How many days until the field trip? So we kind of use it as a math tool. Today's date is, I always write the shortened date right here. So like 9-3-23 and then the full date, whatever it is, Monday, September 3rd, 2023. This is something I think I want to change. So last year I had these 2 pieces vertical, but I think since I'm going to be putting them horizontally this year,
I may redesign those so that it's how many days have we been in school across the middle of 2 pages, and then we just tally as we go along. We put our hundreds, tens, and ones every day, and then I think I want to do something new because my kids really struggled with place value last year, so I think for whatever day of school it is, maybe doing like what's 10 more, 10 less, something along those lines. So I'm kind of leaving that space blank for now. I put the washi tape up for our daily schedule, which will go there. Then I have a student teacher every day. I always just write their name underneath it. And then I got my stoplights up. Last year I had these vertically. I think I'm gonna try it horizontally. Obviously that doesn't look like a typical stoplight, but it'll be easier for the kids to put their names underneath this way. And then again, my small group schedules will go up top. So yeah, I'm liking that. And then I got my new caddy out, my dice encounters. I put those out, Math Center H activity and math folders. So this will be our little, one of our little math areas. We have quite a few. Everything is labeled. Makes me so happy. Okay, I am sitting at my small group table and I am feeling pretty good about what I got done today. It's 10 o'clock, so I actually spent about an hour and a half here, which is like an hour more than I wanted to. But at least I feel accomplished. So I got my whiteboard done for now. I situated my small group table for the 20th time, and I think I am going to just keep it angled like this for now to start the school year. Worked on a bulletin board, worked in my closet putting labels on, put labels on all of my trays for things I need. I think I know what I'm using all of my white milk crates for now. I decided I'm going to keep one in my small group cart. Since this is the first year, I won't have a teacher desk. So I don't think I'll keep like student data in that because I don't really need to access that too often. Obviously their work, but like their data that I keep to put in report cards and their files at the end of the year, that'll be stored away. But I think I'm gonna keep like their reading group assessments, reading group plans, things like that in there. All of that storage will be back here. So that's one milk crate. I'm going to use one for early finishers. One will be for whiteboards and clipboards, as it always has been. One will be for math group materials, so those dry erase pockets. I use those a ton throughout the year, but I like to just keep them in the crate because, like, say we're working on area, I'll throw graph paper in there and then we can use it to draw shapes, or if we're using fractions, I have this great fraction page, so it's easier for me if they're all in one pile to just slip the pages in. So that's 4. Yeah, so I have 2 left. One will probably be for, I'm not sure what the last 2 will be for. They always end up being used, and honestly, worst case scenario, I can put not even worst case scenario, but if I don't have a better use for them, I can always put like extension cords and things that are just too big to go somewhere else, or even binders, because my binders are falling apart from after 1 year from standing up in this thing, so it might be better to put them in a white milk crate. But yeah, I'm pretty happy. I cannot come in to school next week. I may have some time, but I'm not going to plan to. I think I've got more done than I need to have done. So I'm hoping that when I come back in a week and a half, 2 weeks, that our cabinets will be done, because that's kind of what I'm waiting on, is for those to be done. We don't have much storage in these rooms. We have those closets, which is great. And then we have the cabinets, which used to have a sink in them, but they won't this year, which is actually kind of nice because that's more storage for my things, but that's what I need to do. I need to get my white bookshelves moved over to those, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be like all my things basically, and our reward drawers, like the kids' prizes and candy that they get for either birthdays or a celebrations reward system that we do. But yeah, I think I'm like in really good shape. So honestly, if I don't come back until PD days at the end of August, I think I'm totally fine where I'm at. Plenty of computer work to do at home, just getting organized. I want to get like as much done as I can. First week of school, reading group things planned that you just never seem to have a ton of time for throughout the school year. So that's kind of what I'll be doing for the rest of the summer. But other than that, I think the room's in good shape. I'll show you around here. This is my view from my table in the back corner. Got the whiteboards and bulletin boards. This is our front learning wall here, our Trofast bins, which hold all of our math manipulatives, games, flashcards in there. I have 2 clear touches for now. Obviously, I will only have 1. It's just being stored in here. Got a first week of school bulletin board up. Again, those are our shelves that are going to go on this wall whenever they're installed. That's where the kids will now hang their coats and backpacks. Bunch of this stuff in this corner is not mine. It's another teacher's who's just storing it in here for now. So that's kind of like my messy corner. Library looks awesome. I'm very happy with the library. Even on top of the shelves is pretty good. Got my desk, or table, which I guess is technically my desk too. Whiteboard looks wonderful. And again, just waiting on these cabinets. But yeah, that's where we'll leave off for now.